The new Angels and Airwaves record is this is my absolute pinnacle of like creativity and hard work and mind-numbing adventure. We've been working on this film for 3 years, and to have it coincide with this record, but also to write songs that are so emotionally deep, but sonically like just so multi-dimensional. The landscapes and what's happening musically on this record I've never done before, but they still totally sound like that ethereal grand wall of sound that Angels has at times. And so my goal is when it's interesting because the movie itself, I don't know how we're going to release it, but the goal is IMAX theaters, is that when you're watching the film, sonically, not only the music, but the sound design of the film is a character. And so to write music that helps push that forward is gnarly. It's like, doing these epic, high-impact visuals that sometimes the screen might even go black and you'll have sound swirling around in the theater, and then the song will pick up on one of the 5.1 speakers, and then it slams you back into the visual on the screen. It's been quite the task, but it's the goal is that at the end of the day you will be really struck emotionally by the content, and the whole thing's called Love. The movie and the album is just called Love, so it's exciting. It's interesting. I always figure I think happiness with an individual, and I've been addicted to drugs, and I grew up in a f***ed up family, and so I tattoo myself, and like all of us, and something's wrong with our head somewhere, but. So I'm striving for this kind of happiness, but what I learned in Blink is like this. There's two types of happiness. There's like this outward kind of like, make everyone else really enjoy being around you and try and make the world cool for everyone. And there's another one that's inward. And I felt Angels and Airwaves was like this inward happiness, this second part of what you're striving for. So when we created and started Angels and Airwaves, we knew in order to get that inward kind of happiness and that endless search, to really communicate it had to be done with more than music. So we instantly thought of creating a visual aspect to the band and really tried to educate people on the definition of what the philosophy behind this band. It was more than a band. It was meant to be this experiment in consciousness, with the youth, and it was crazy deep and over a lot of people's heads, but they really started to get it on the second album, which is rad, So we embarked on visual campaign early on. We started doing these big documentary and this big feature film thing and all these short films and a lot of harrowing graphics and stuff. And then it really became more artistic. I think once we got off and going, we realized we could pull it. It'll be hard, but when you really think it through with the music, you have so much more of an opportunity to impact an individual. And there's no turning back since. Angels and Airwaves is it's like ultimate joy to be in. I kind of go to this argument inside my head. Am I trying to make myself feel a certain way, or am I trying to make somebody else feel something? But the goal is to have both happen. In some ways, it's easy because you accept the path, but it's also hard because it's uncharted waters. Like coming from a punk band and trying to make being positive and changing the world cool. Takes a little bit of thought because you don't want to be cheeky and lame, so you want to have a sense of rebellion and angst, which is weird, but I'm still trying to figure it out. I'll tell you if it's easy or hard like 2 years from now. Usually I have certain ideas of music in my head of what I want, like very basic platform. Like if you're an architect, you're going to build a building, you could say like I want to do a skyscraper. It's going to be square and it's going to be glass, but how it's twisting and turning and what's happening on the inside of the building, is it's infinite of what you can do. That's kind of how I start. Like I know I want a song that has this kind of energy or has this kind of a feeling, and that could be the chord progression, or it could be just the kind of landscape that it creates with the synth kind of work and stuff. But more often than not, you get into the studio and you start the song pretty quickly and easily, but once you kind of have the beginning going, you kind of get stuck and go, where do we go from here? And so sometimes in the studio, we will take these trips as a band out to the mountains and motorcycles, or to the desert, or like we went to an island, Anacapa, one time, and go try and create a world that these songs can exist in, and that helps push it through. And that's something that involves film, graphics, and photography, you know.